I simply haven't been teaching the right thing. Come over here, the grass is greener. You might be thinking like, whatever, I've got things to do. I have got actual problems that are like right in front of my face. Should I do this or that? What am I even doing with my life? If I can achieve all these things while going after my dreams, while feeling great, like while also, by the way, having all the energy and like thriving health, then that's also possible for you. And that feels really exciting because how valuable would it be to get more done in less time? In today's episode, you're going to hear me talk about the changes in direction that are coming up in my work and business and how it's going to serve you better than ever before. Let's dive in. Welcome to Resonance, the podcast for high performers and entrepreneurs who want to do life, work, and success differently. I am your host, Viktoria Levenberg, and I'm obsessed with efficiency, productivity, and planning in a way that harnesses your energy and your natural rhythms while keeping you in alignment and integrity. Because I have figured out that lasting success is not about the hustle. It is about being in resonance. Let's begin. Welcome to the first episode that I am officially recording in 2026. And before we dive in, just wanted to preface this with the fact that 2025 in numerology was a 9-year. That means that it is a year of completion, a year of endings. And now that we're in 2026, if you kind of add the 2 plus the 2 plus the 9 together, the 6, sorry, I don't math, you get the year 1, which signifies the year of a new cycle of new beginnings. And I just wanted to preface this at the beginning of this episode because I knew this going into 2026, and I always do my planning and my intentions and all the great things, but I truly underestimated the power of that transition until I found myself having what some might call a little breakdown on December 29th, where I was literally like questioning everything. It's like, should I do this or that? What am I even doing with my life? There was a lot of kind of ups and downs, and what often comes after a breakdown is a breakthrough. And that's exactly what manifested itself for me. I went through a small ego death, if that's what you want to call it. And, being a triple Scorpio in my astrology, that's just like my life. I'm constantly rebirthing. And it was a pretty significant one, just on the brink of the new year coming in on December 30th. So this breakthrough is resulted in a change in direction in everything, in my work life, business, everything you're going to see here, everything you're going to see out there in the public. I feel like I have finally had this realization that I can give you what you want. You see, if you've been listening to the show and enjoying what you've been learning so far, trust me, it's about to get 1,000 times better. And so the reason behind today's episode being a bit of a kind of, peek behind the curtain, like a peek behind the scenes as to what is to come. And, I am a big believer in wrapping things up before you begin something new. That is a big part of, looking back before you look forward. And so that's the intention behind today's episode. Now, I will preface this with the fact that you might still hear a couple of episodes drip fed here and there that I recorded before said breakthrough. And that's fine. You'll probably hear the difference quite significantly. But without further ado, let's just get into the nitty gritty. So look, I am super, super conscious that while what I have been offering is genuinely what facilitates transformation for high performers, ambitious, busy people just like you, the feedback I've been getting and the traction that I've been having in my work life and business so far has been a really clear mirror to the fact that it's not really what you want. Like, now looking back at the last few years, I can only see it from that vantage point of like, here I am on this faraway, distant island in La La Land being like, come over here. Life is great. Just chill, be present, yoga vibes. I'm making fun of myself. It's fine. You might have not thought of that. You might have been like, yeah, Vic, but I don't know how. I've got all these other things, right? And that's the thing. Like, meanwhile, while I'm like, come over here, the grass is greener, it's like, you might be thinking like, whatever, I've got things to do. I have got actual problems that are like right in front of my face. I got bills to pay. I got mouths to feed. I've got that boss who won't stop breathing down my neck. I've got things to do. I don't even have the time to process whatever this La La Land ideal wellness lifestyle thing you're trying to sell me here, And that's the more I spoke to, high performers and ambitious, busy people just like yourself, the more I realized that, like, you already know this. You already know that you need a regulated nervous system. Like, you know that running on chronic stress is not sustainable, and you know that you should be taking better care of your health. Otherwise, you wouldn't already be here listening to me all this time. But what you know and what you want right now are two very, very different things. And look, I might be wrong here, but so far from everyone who I've kind of given a sneak peek behind the curtains as to this change in direction, obviously my partner, my family, my existing students, and some of the people in my kind of close inner circle, the feedback's just been astounding. And really what I've realized is that what you need isn't more stress relief tools or more health and wellness wisdom. No, you need to be able to get more done in less time. Like, you need a solution that helps you finally clear through that never-ending to-do list and to move through with life with that level of efficiency that makes people be like, what are you on? Like, I get this all the time. People are always like, how do you do all this? How are you doing this? And I guess maybe I took it for granted that just because that's how my brain works and that's how I operate my life, that everyone knows how to do it, but clearly we're wrong. And I realized, like, if you can get more done in less time, then you can still achieve your big goals while still having a life. And that's what's so important to me, like, it's not about just hustling and working harder. No, like, what are you actually doing this for? It's probably more time with your family, friends, maybe even a hobby. Like, whoa, imagine that. Imagine like playing again. It feels a bit naughty, doesn't it? Like, I'm still working through my own stuff. And, it's basically just all these things that we always keep postponing for later. And yeah, here's the thing. In both my corporate and my personal life, I am known as the efficiency, productivity, systemization, organization queen. Like, the amount of people I have mentored in my years, basically teaching them exactly this, the amount of conversations I have had. I mean, this stuff lights me up so much. Like, organizations, systems, and structure are my superpower. That is just naturally how my brain works. And often we don't realize that the things that we know, live, and breathe that like are really valuable, that we also need to pass that wisdom on. And if you don't believe me, you're like, oh yeah, sure, whatever. She's just like, this does sound a little bit braggy, and if any of my listeners are in Australia and New Zealand, you'll know that we've got this whole tall poppy syndrome going on here, and here I am like coming up like a real tall poppy. Well, you know what, I'm going to stand by that, because in the last 2 years alone, I have completed a full-time university load. I have completed 3 yoga teacher trainings, launched a business, launched this podcast, hosted workshops both online and in person, passed like numerous exams, including the literally most challenging exam that is out there available for health and wellness coaches, traveled around the world while also still working part-time in corporate and kind of crushing it, so you don't need to believe me. Like, the results speak for themselves. If that isn't proof enough, that is like real tangible outcome proof of the fact that the systems, the structures, the way I run my life actually works. And I do want to acknowledge the fact that I don't want to assume that I can just be like, oh, here, use the exact whatever that I use and it's magically going to work for you. No. This is going to be a process. And that's when it really clicked that if it's possible for me, if I can achieve all these things while going after my dreams, while feeling great, like while also, by the way, having all the energy and like thriving health, then that's also possible for you. And that feels really exciting because I realized that I simply haven't been teaching the right thing. You know, I've been teaching, I've always, my mission, my purpose, my dharma has always been to help people to make this world a better, healthier, happier place. That is why I am here. And I was doing that, but I was doing that from, I guess, the slightly different angle. And I'm sure you probably heard this metaphor, right? That like if a plane departs LA to New York and it's just off by 3 degrees, it's not going to arrive in New York. It's going to arrive like somewhere in Canada or something. I don't know the details, but you get the memo, right? And so I was a couple of degrees off. And so now I'm just readjusting course. And I kid you not, ever since I've done that, my energy, my excitement, I am so lit up by this. And there's this quiet confidence. There's like this quiet inner knowing that this is it. I might share this story a little bit later in the episode, but as I was kind of going through this whole breakdown and questioning everything, because you can imagine like, you know, kind of health to efficiency and nervous system to productivity is, while they're still, you know, in the same world, it is quite a big jump. And especially, you know, the fact that I would be moving away from really nerding out on the things that I love talking about, right? Which is things like your nutrition and nervous system and yogic wisdom and behavior change science and all these sort of things. I realized I was like, well, this isn't about what I want to talk about or what I want to do. This is about giving you what you need. And what you need is for me to teach you the actual tools, strategies, systems, and frameworks that I use to run my life. Ones that do help you get more done in less time so that you can achieve your big dreams without getting hooked on like ADHD medication, you know? And the best part is that once we sort this out, the nervous system and the health and the well-being stuff like naturally follows, because I also include it in my systems, right? Like I got to practice what I preach here, team. So you might be thinking at this point, hey, Vic, like you're getting out to La La Land again. This sounds a bit too good to be true. Actually, no, not at all. Quite the opposite. And this is exactly why a lot of what you're going to be seeing on this show, the messaging, the essence of resonance will begin to shift in that direction. So what you can expect here over the coming weeks and months and I think like the future, because I believe hands down I am on the right path. You're going to still have the same humanness, right? I'm still me. There's just going to be more practicality. You're still going to have the same, as my friend Zach Boden-Weber calls it, vitamin V, right? The same Vic. It's just more meeting you where you're at rather than trying to, you know, take you 10 steps ahead when we haven't even crossed the starting point is kind of what I'm trying to say. And specifically, you will begin to hear more about 3 key pillars that are the essential tools, strategies, and systems to master in order to get more done in less time. The first one is cyclical alignment. And this isn't just physical cycles, all right? There's so much more to this. There's things out in nature. There's things out in the energetics. Like there is so much to unpack here. I could, again, we'll park that thought. But basically, cyclical alignment. I'm like getting so excited. I want to spill all the beans, but no. Take everyone on the journey. So we're going on the journey. So pillar 1 is cyclical alignment. The second one, and this is so important, is energy management, because it's not your time management that's suffering right now. It is your energy management. And that's going to weave a lot of perspective shifting and tangible tools, strategies, things you can do to get more done in less time. Again, that's exactly what we're here for. And lastly, and this is, I think, like my favorite part, is the high performance systems. So this is literally the ways that I run my life. This is the processes that I go through, the thought structures that I've now realized like just happen automatically in my brain. And I'm going to tell you something, like this is definitely challenging me and having me go outside of my corporate, yes, outside of my comfort zone. You know, as you can imagine, this is a big pivot, and it requires an absolute complete shift in how I approach everything. Like, I'm not kidding you. Like, everything's got to change. And my office floor is scattered with like little post-it notes of ideas. My brain's giving off fireworks every 43 minutes. I'm like, in my mindfulness meditation practice. And then I'm like, that's how I think. Because this is the interesting piece is, if it were, I don't know. This is different. This is different than anything you've seen out there. I'm sure that some of you might be thinking at this point, it's like, oh, whatever, Vic. Like, I've done all the productivity courses and read all the books and blah, 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 blah. But like, no, my friends, these 3 things that I'm going to begin to share with you are the missing ingredients that have kept you running on empty all this time. And so I just wanted to also, meet myself where I am and share kind of my vulnerable side of the fact that this is really taking me outside of my comfort zone, because it's one thing to use these systems. It's a whole different thing to teach it to someone else. And so right now, the process that I'm going through myself is like having to catch myself as I think and do things. So where, this is just naturally how I run my life. I'm like, wait, hang on. What is the thought process behind this? What is the structure behind this? What is the workflow? Like, what are the tangible ways I could teach this to someone so that they could pick this up and plug it into their life? So this is kind of where we're at. As I mentioned earlier, in the spirit of agility, this transition is going to be far from perfect. So like, here I am announcing this change in direction because I wanted to get this out as soon as possible. You will definitely still hear a couple of episodes of resonance here and there that were recorded last year before I had this realization. And again, the difference will be pretty clear. That doesn't matter. What matters is that you are still here. And whether you've been here from day one, since we launched Resonance, or whether you're brand new here, just thank you so much for being here. And I trust that you're here along with me for the ride. I trust that there's really something great here that I have to pass on to you, because like, if we live in a world where everyone is able to fulfill their highest potential while feeling great at the same time, then you're going to be unstoppable. Like, imagine the world that we're all going to be living in. And that is what I really deeply feel that I'm here to help co-create. And, I wasn't sure whether I was going to share this, but it would be amiss of me not to say that, as I was going through this ego death, and I was like, oh my God, it means I have to change everything. It means like all the education I've done, of course it's gotten me where I am, but it's like, who cares if I can write up a nutrition plan for you? Like, that's not what we're talking about, And so there was definitely like this ego death moment. And it also means that I've got to go through the whole offer testing and validation process once again, which, basically what I'm saying is everything's starting from scratch. And as the monkey mind does, I was questioning everything and kind of overthinking, which is always a red flag, by the way. And I just asked the universe, and I was like, okay, please, if this is the right direction that I'm meant to go in, I was at that point already like 90% sure, but I just needed that assurance. And I was like, okay, if I'm on the right track, if I'm making the right decision here, please, on this next walk with Piper that I was going on, show me a parrot. And that's a big ask, because I live across the street from a park here in Auckland, and I knew exactly what parrots I was referring to, but I've only seen them like maybe 2 or 3 times, and it was like windy, a bit rainy, it's like highly unlikely. but I wasn't, it was just, I went to see a parrot. And I went on the walk, and even I was quite detached, again, with these things, like the universe speaks to you in mysterious ways. And I was just sort of walking along, and already the wishful thinking to see a parrot was obviously my green light that I was on the right track. I always, by the way, this is like a little complete side tangent tip for you. If you're ever struggling to make a decision, flip a coin and notice what you're hoping the coin will land on. Boom, that's your decision made. But yeah, I was kind of walking, and I was like, okay, this is happening. Like I'm doing it. Parrot or no parrot, we're going ahead. And then I look at the back of a bus stop on our walk, and it's got this like beautiful advertising of, I think maybe the Auckland Zoo or something. I don't know, something bird related. And there's like all these different birds, and there's a parrot. And I was like, oh my God. Okay. Message received. Thank you. It just felt so good. And honestly, like since then I've been seeing like birds everywhere. Cam and I went out for date night to watch Avatar, which I highly recommend, by the way. And there was like this beautiful mural of a bird, and then we took Piper out for a walk somewhere else, and there was this other mural. And then, I kid you not, this is wild, like I actually sent a photo of this to one of my friends. I was walking Piper again, because that's what I do. And I saw on January 1st at 11 a.m., I saw like heaps of the exact parrots that I was referring to. And you might think, oh my gosh, she's off in La La Land and Woo Woo Land again. But like, hey, if you want to live the life of your wildest dreams, you've got to believe that there is something beyond just our small ego monkey mind running the show and influencing the world around us. And so all that to say is that I'm really happy with this direction. There's this quiet momentum. I am so grateful that you've been here and you've endured my misleading, kind of slightly off-center direction for so long. And I really hope that you resonate with where we're going. And what I love about resonance is that it's still the essence of what I do. Resonance, as I've said in episode 1, it's so multifaceted. It is a resonant nervous system. It is being in resonance with yourself. It is being in alignment with who you're meant to be. And it is having that resonance across not just who you're being, but your thoughts, behaviors, or actions, and in effect, the results that you're getting in your life. So it's funny how these things kind of tend to come together. As we wrap up this week's episode, I would just encourage you to also take a step back and reflect on the last year, maybe even the last 9 years, and think of what cycle has ended for you in 2025. So as you take your awareness all the way back to like 2016, what lessons, what patterns begun to emerge for you that you needed to learn from in life? And whatever you do what you need to let it go, process it, whether it's through journaling, talking to a friend, burning something, just be safe. This is the time right now. We're in this transitionary time. It is the time to let the past be in the past, let go of any past resentments, whatever, just leave that there so that you can create space to let in whatever it is that you are calling into this new chapter in your life. So thank you so much for being here. I am so excited for what's to come. I would love to hear from you. DM me on Instagram or send me an email. All the links are below, and I can't wait to see you soon. I get asked by high-performing women and entrepreneurs how to get more done in less time all the time. And that is because I have been able to master productivity, efficiency, and planning myself. I am known both in my professional and personal life as the productivity queen. And for the very first time ever, I'm going to be teaching a small, select group of students how to use cyclical alignment, energy management, and high performance structures so that you can finally have a personal operating system that makes progress towards your big goals feel inevitable and easy. Imagine getting more done in less time. Imagine structure and consistency in your life. And imagine knowing how to work with your body to optimize your productivity. That is all much closer than you think. So if you are done constantly pushing through exhaustion, feeling tired but wired, and you would like to be part of this special training, make sure to join the priority waitlist today. The link is in the show notes below and at victorialevenberg.com/success. I'll see you there. The views and opinions expressed by guests on Resonance are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of me, Viktoria Levenberg, Live in Health, or anyone working within the Live in Health brand. This space welcomes a diversity of ideas, experiences, and stories, and part of Resonance is learning to take what aligns and gently leaving the rest. Also, while I am a national board certified health and wellness coach and deeply passionate about well-being, this podcast is intended for educational and inspirational purposes only. Resonance does not substitute personalized medical, psychological, or therapeutic advice. Always seek guidance from qualified professionals for any physical, emotional, or mental health concerns.